Hi everyone, it's Shannon with Scrumptious Ink. We wanted to do this quick video for winter protective styling. So it's just gonna kind of be a rundown as to what you should do for your protective styling for the winter months. It is important to protective style your hair when we hit those cold weather strings. That way we keep our hair away from being exposed to dryness. It keeps our ends tucked and it also keeps them nice and warm. So that way they're not exposed to those high winds, snow, even rain. And wool hats, which can be the enemy to kinky curly hair. So before you do your protective styling, there are a few steps that need to be taken. This video will be divided into 3 parts. It will be before you do your protective styling, while you're protective styling, and after your removal of your protective style. Stay tuned and we'll continue from there. So before you start to do your protective styling, the first thing you should do is to clarify your hair with a clarifying shampoo. It could be a natural shampoo or your favorite deep cleansing shampoo. Since your hair is going to be locked up for at least 4 to 6 weeks, you want to make sure it's clean enough so that way it's sealed away, clean, and moisturized. After you've done your clarifying, that's when you would move on to detangling your hair properly. That means doing a finger detangle, removing all knots and anything that would cause additional breakage while your hair is being protective in your style. Third thing would be to stretch your hair. Stretching can be done by braiding your hair. It could be done by the banding method, or if you do have a low heat resolution to do your hair with a straightener, that would be another resolution. We're talking about really a low blow dry. That way you do stretch your hair full out and you're able to make those sections and parts once you do go into doing a braided style, a lock style, or a cornrow. The last thing would be to basically do an LOC or an LCO method. So LOC, some people decide to do a liquid, oil, and a conditioner, or you can do an LCO, which is a liquid conditioner oil. That seals in all that moisture and it just prepares your hair to be locked away for a long period of time without being dry and brittle during those times that you are locked up. While you are wearing your protective style, be it braids, be it any kind of bohemian twist or passion twist, you can do locks, which is what I'm currently in for my protective style for winter. While you're in your protective style, you want to apply a cream water-based moisturizer to your hair. That means going in and finding your sections and actually placing that cream on the hair that is exposed in each section. On top of that, you want to do an oiling every day. So every 2 to 3 days, you add that cream or water-based hair moisturizer. Every day you'll be oiling your scalp just to keep it from building up dandruff or dry skin or itchiness. Also, between those times, you'll go ahead and wrap your hair when you are sleeping with a silk scarf or a bonnet. If you do have one that's large enough to hold this much hair, you would move on and do it that way and keep it refreshed with a nice tea spritz or even a handmade DIY aloe water and lavender spritz. That way it keeps your hair nice and fresh between not washing it for that 4 to 6 week period. Last thing but not least, make sure you keep it in for 4 to 6 weeks. That's the point of a protective style, to leave your hair alone, not touch it, and just let it relax and grow. If you keep fumbling with it or you take your braids out too quickly, you don't have any results. So there's no point in actually putting your hair in a protective style. All that work for nothing? Why not? Keep it in 4 to 6 weeks. So when you're going in to remove your braids, that dreaded day of braid removal that everyone hates to do, you're gonna want to remember where you ended your hair when you started doing that braid out. When you braided out, you took it to a length and you ended it. But when you go in to take out those braids, sometimes we forget where we ended it. We don't want that to happen. So go in, figure it out, and that's when you're gonna clip that end of that braid where it was burned or where it was knotted. That way you don't cut your own hair. After you've done that and removed all of the fake hair or the replacement or extension hair that you had in for your braids, you're gonna go in and finger detangle. We're not using a comb yet just because your hair might be a little brittle, it might be sensitive from being locked up for so long. So you wanna go in and you wanna finger detangle that hair, removing any lint or old hair that's built up within each of those parts and sections. You wanna go in and finger detangle. After your finger detangles, that's when you're gonna go in and re-clarify your hair. That's getting in and washing your hair. It's gonna feel amazing because that's where you haven't washed your hair for so long. So you go in and you clarify your hair. After clarifying, we go in with the LCO method or LOC. Either one that you choose, you want to make sure you deep condition that hair after it's been in such a protective style for so long. It helps to replenish all that moisture that you lost from not washing it and rehydrating it on your normal hair regimen schedule. And it also helps to replenish it so that you can have that nice new growth, nicely moisturized and healthy. At that point is when you want to kind of go in also and find those fairy knots that might have developed during your protective style. And if you do have any like split ends that have developed or anything throughout that protective style time, that's when you can take it, since your hair has already kind of been sectioned off, and trim off those ends, those dead little ends that don't need to keep. That way you can flourish with your hair growth. That's pretty much about it with your protective styling. Protective styling is necessary when it comes to cold weather. So it's not that hard to keep up. It is a nice, easy way to not have to take the time in the morning to do your hair. You just pull up your braids. You can do it in a nice little style if you want to. Whatever you want to do. So thank you for watching, everyone. And good luck with all your protective styling for winter.